That's the sound for the Broncos this week.
That was something special.
That was something. We're rolling.
Mm-hmm.
We're rolling. We're ready. I'm ready when you're ready.
I'm ready.
We're rolling. It's the MOJO show. It's the MOJO show, yo. Week 3, but really part 2 because part 0 was me by myself.
Yep.
So, I don't even know where to begin from.
Mm-hmm.
We had my game that was pretty bad.
Yep.
Your game got a little dicey. We're gonna wait to talk about those.
Still a bad game.
That got a little dicey. We're watching my Joker pick of the week, which is the Buccaneers against Philly, which I actually would like Tampa to win. It would help me out because the Cowboys lost, the Giants lost, we lost. Philly loses, we're still tied at 2-1.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with that, but they are my Joker pick because I have no faith in Baker Mayfield. Sorry.
I'm currently winning my fantasy match, my money league, by 1.5, and right now it's Goddard versus Swift. I have Goddard. Oh, I have Jamar Chase too, who's playing in the other game. But Burrow's been hurt, so he hasn't really done much, and I'm very upset because I did not play Laporta, the tight end out of Detroit. He was the second tight end drafted in this past draft, and he was looking good, and Goddard was not looking great. And I'm not a big proponent of switching my fantasy team around early, like some people drop pick up guys.
Yeah.
I just let it ride for a few weeks.
Right.
But that one I should have seen coming because he's like he's a new Hawkinson.
Right.
And I could have already have won this game if I didn't do that. So now I'm kind of annoyed. But I just need Chase to actually have a Chase game. But if Burrow's still injured, I think he's playing injured.
I thought they said he was going to play. That's the
Yeah.
other game that's on right now that we're not currently watching. He is. He's playing.
Yep. And you did mention your Joker pick. My money pick did hit. Got that bet.
Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were favored by 3.5, and they won by 6. 4. No, God, it was 20-6. I think the final score was.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was 20-6.
Yeah, they won by 14. So yeah, you're welcome. Whoever took that bet, you're welcome.
Mo's money pick.
I won $5.83.
What was it off of, a $5 bet?
It was $5. That's all I do. Yeah, I've only lost one bet since I've dove in, and it was the Bills Jets game, which I should have won.
Everybody was losing that fucking. If you bet on that game, you were likely losing unless you were just a Jets diehard.
Yeah.
And had too much faith in them.
I guess we could start with Thursday Night Football.
It's
probably a good place to start. But whenever we're thinking like, hey, where do we start with the week? Thursday Night Football, that's the start. How about Thursday Night Football in general? Those games always start so poorly. Always.
I hate them.
Yeah, they're not great. However, I don't hate having another primetime game to watch. I'm a sucker for football, and I like being able to watch it.
I understand. I do. I get it because then I'll end up watching it too because I don't typically watch the Sunday night game.
Right.
So I do watch it. I think from like when your team is playing on a Sunday and then they're playing Thursday, I get really fucking like Washington has to do it in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate that.
At least everyone gets one now. I guess at least it's kind of fair. They should try to get the bye, like make it a bye the Sunday after, or no, the Sunday before, and then play Thursday night.
There was one time where Washington played a 4:30 Sunday and played Thursday.
They're across the country,
but it's like every hour counts when you have to play on Sunday and Thursday. Why would you play like if you're playing the 4:30 game like that? To me, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. This year, the Patriots are playing. And I feel so bad for the players. They're playing Christmas Eve at like 4:30 in Denver, and they have to. Or was it the night game? No. It's Sunday night. It's a Sunday night. I think it's Sunday. I have to double check, but it's like a late game. It's brutal. In Denver. But actually, the big game might not be so bad because Denver is bleeping terrible. But also the game was very boring because the Giants were completely outmatched. And the 49ers just have way too much talent. Yeah, it's the Sunday night game that on Christmas Eve. So they have to play Christmas Eve in Denver and then fly home at like midnight.
Oh, God.
It's going to be brutal.
The scheduling was really weird because I noticed that, and we'll get into it too, but like talking about the Giants, because the Giants won last week, but they were getting killed the whole game. And I didn't notice it until yesterday. Whoever did the scheduling, Arizona had to play the NFC East the first 3 weeks. And honestly, they should have went 3-0, but I was like, wait, why would they fucking have them play Washington, the Giants and then Dallas the first 3 weeks.
Yeah,
That makes no sense. Will you play that whole division the first 3 weeks?
Are they? That's the way it's lined up this year, right? Where the West plays the East, or is that? I don't know.
Well, the NFC East is playing the AFC East.
AFC East, yeah.
But I think we are playing the West, right? That would make sense. But it's just odd that that would be like Washington playing like New England, the Jets, and Miami back to that makes no sense.
Seems a bit aggressive. I feel like schedule making should be so easy because you literally just punch it into a computer. You don't have to do anything about it. Although I've heard that some teams can request certain things. So if you have 2 West Coast trips, you sometimes can ask the NFL to make them back to back, so you can do one of those long trips. They don't always do it, but they will. So maybe it's more difficult than I think.
I guess.
But Thursday Night Football I just enjoy watching it, but it's every time I do watch it, I just remember, oh yeah, this is Thursday Night Football at least for the first quarter until it picks up. It's funny because this is the Eagles. It's already their second primetime game, which makes sense because they're the Eagles. But they can just be brutal in general. But I just like watching sports, live sports. I should say.
I mean, I will say that McCaffrey trade looks like it's panning out so far.
Yeah. He's really good. As long as he stays healthy.
When he's healthy, but that was always the risk. But I mean, honestly, a team like San Francisco that was kind of built to have that additional piece, that's what they needed.
Well, it's so funny because they dropped in any old running back, and he was amazing. They had Eli Mitchell, who was, I don't even know what round he was drafted. He was doing really well. Then he got hurt, and then they just go and grab CMC. It's like, of course he's going to be good. And,
it's the right system. It's a good team where he's not carrying the load, so to speak. But I mean, I don't know, he still had 18 carries, 85 yards. But as long as he stays healthy, I think they'll be fine.
I think I said it last week where there's talent around, so you can say he's not the only. I think the Panthers literally ran him into the ground. They just ran him. They did the same thing to Cam Newton. They just ran him into the ground. So yeah, that's a good spot. Definitely a good spot for him, and it helps that their quarterback is paid literally like $50,000.
Brock,
he's getting paid. He probably is he's definitely the cheapest quarterback in the NFL.
100%, and
and Shanahan's just a really good offensive coach. He's really bad at Super Bowls, but he's really good at offense. He's now given up.
I think they can get over that hump, especially this year. I mean, everybody's saying it could be them and Philly.
Yeah, we'll see. They gave up. I mean, I would like a rematch with Purdy being healthy or a healthy quarterback on their team. But Shanahan gave up the 10-point lead to the Chiefs a couple of years ago in the fourth quarter, and then of course he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons during Super Bowl 51, and we all know what happened there. 51, yeah, 51.
Was he?
Yeah, he was offensive coordinator. So when they decided to run it 3 times on the 20 and they kick a field goal,
man,
that was his decision because their coach was the Quinn from defensive.
Oh yeah.
So good times.
That was rough. Yeah, the Giants, they squeaked one out. They came back last week against Arizona, but they still look funky, and they're paying Daniel Jones a lot of money.
And that contract is the contract that Mac Jones is playing for. He's in his fourth. He's in his third year. He's coming on the fourth, and that's usually when those extensions happen. And so he has to match. In my estimation, he has to match what Daniel Jones did last year through the air on the ground. And so far, I don't really see it happening, but I think he led the league in touchdowns after. I mean, it's only 2 weeks after last week. But yeah, that's what he's playing for right now. Because he's not going to break the bank, obviously, but are they going to give him some mid-level? But it's still a lot. Like you said, it's still a lot of money.
It is. Honestly, it depends on how that. We'll get into that game because that's a whole. I know. But that's a whole other thing.
Well, yeah. Do you want to jump? Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot to say about that game. Next game up, we had. I picked. Big mistake. I picked Tennessee. At Cleveland.
I know, you even said it too.
I know, but I really didn't have faith in Deshaun. Deshaun went 289, 2 touchdowns, 27-3. It wasn't even fucking close. Amari went off. Tennessee is Minnesota.
And I mean, I was playing against Derrick Henry in fantasy, and he only got 2 points, which means he only got 20 yards rushing. So if Derrick Henry isn't having a good game, and
what are they gonna do?
Yeah, and I think we chatted about this too, where Tannehill is just not the answer. It was a nice little story, coming from Miami, but he wasn't going to get you over that hump.
But who else did they have? Malik Willis, and who else did they have?
They just drafted the kid from. Excuse me. Gosh, who did they just draft? Yeah,
they did. They just drafted somebody, but they have Malik.
Was it Will Greer?
Willis?
No, he went to Will Greer. That's No, that's the Patriots too that just signed to the practice squad.
Is it Levi? Will Levi?
Yeah.
Levi.
I think they traded up to take him from Kentucky.
Second round pick.
Yeah, Malik was the first pick of the third round, I think, the year before.
Yeah.
So they have options there. It's just a matter if they just want to pull the trigger because Ryan Tannehill, like I said, is not it. But also, I don't even know who their wide receivers are. They traded Brown.
They got Hopkins.
That's right.
But I see why you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
because,
I mean,
I don't know why you went there.
I think this might be just a repeat of the Julio Jones situation, where everyone wanted Julio Jones. It happens fast for wide receivers, and then that's it.
But what's Tannehill's contract? Because they gave him decent money, right, a couple of years ago. I don't know what his contract looks like, but
I think it was one of those similar like Daniel Jones. He's in the last year of his contract. It was a 4-year, $118 million in 2020. So yeah, it was like a decent little thing, but it wasn't it wasn't like a Patrick Mahomes type deal or something.
Right.
Yeah, he's a bridge quarterback. Hello, yeah.
But, I mean, they had a nice little story for like a year or two, but it's like, bro, it's over.
Yeah, they had a good running game, but running games only get you so far in today's NFL, and it makes me sad because I love to run the ball, but that's just the way it is. It's the way it is.
But you got to establish some sort of a run game too.
Yeah.
Like unless you're a team that can just air it out.
Yeah, the thing
those aren't.
The thing with running backs is that they're kind of a dime a dozen too. You have CEH. Did I say this last week? I might repeat myself a lot.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, got in the first round, has been mid forever since he's been in the league, and then last year they got Pacheco in the 7th round, and he's
like producing more.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
Yep. Your money pick of the week.
Woo.
Them Detroit Lions. I mean, I don't know how much more you want to go into, but that was your.
Yeah,
your
I just
pick.
thought the Falcons were a good story, but I felt like the Lions were bad last week, and the Falcons, they couldn't. They're building something there. That's what happens when you pick in the top 10 of the draft 4 years in a row.
Right.
You get the Pitts. You get what's his name? Riddler was a later round pick, but they got Pitts. They got the running back.
Ritter was at what, 3rd round?
Was it? Yeah, and they got the running back whose name escapes me. It wasn't Robinson, was it? He went to the Lions.
No, it wasn't it?
And then the wide receiver too. So yeah, oh gosh,
Bijan.
Yeah, was it Bijan? Okay.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at that. So yeah, they got the talent there, but the Lions, I feel like they were mad because they probably should have won the week before, so they came back strong.
I mean, at home, I don't think Atlanta was 2-0 going into the game, but I wasn't really sold. I picked Detroit on that one.
Yeah.
I try to remember some of my picks. I know that I picked Tennessee. I know that I picked Detroit. The next game I know, and I squeaked this one out. I picked Green Bay at home. I think you did too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were down 17-0, and then Carr goes out,
Right.
And then the game changed.
Yeah, and the Saints did miss a 46-yard field goal to lose.
Right.
Yeah, but
right.
I mean, there's still like a minute and a half left. But yeah, good on Love for storming back. That's pretty cool. I wish Mac Jones could literally do that once. Then against not the Texans.
But they scored all those points in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter too. I mean, granted, at 17 it wasn't a lot, but I mean it's a 3-score game.
Yeah,
Being down in the fourth quarter.
it's wild though. In this again, I go back to in this NFL. Ever since they changed that rule about you can't shove the guy inside 5 yards or whatever in like 2004 or 5, it's never been the same. It's never been the same.
I noticed that on Red Zone too. When you see all the touchdowns at the end,
Yeah.
there was so many wide open throws yesterday. Even some of them that weren't actual touchdowns, wide open.
Yeah. And guys the kids can't play man anymore. Not because of rules or anything. It's just so hard. It's difficult. You can't, especially if you can't check a guy at the line. And I saw a stat where it said, I think the top 10 quarterback seasons, like fourth, top ranked, have all been since 2004 because that's when the rules changed.
Right.
And it's never been the same. So it's just really hard. Playing defense is really hard now.
I mean, especially like not only just the quarterback, but on the receivers. I mean, there's some like funky pass interference. We talked about it last week about like spot of the foul or 15-yarder.
Yeah.
That is such a killer. It's so hard to play defense right now.
I do feel for the refs because we'll get into it a little bit later, but I know the game moves so fast. I can't even imagine on the field. And a lot of these refs are 60, 70 years old. They're so old. Get out of here.
Right.
So I can kind of see it where it's hard to keep track of it all, but they gotta do a better job. They're just way too inconsistent.
That's the problem. Is it's just inconsistent calls.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I feel the same way like baseball. If you're gonna have a big strike zone big strike zone, that's fine as long as you do it both ways.
You got to do it both ways. Yeah.
So you can at least get a feel for it. But if you're calling and then you get ticky tacky stuff over here, but not calling it over there, then it's just annoying.
Yeah, because they become an element to the game, and they really shouldn't.
Yeah.
The next one, the big one, and I really hope I pick Miami. The drubbing in Miami. Oh my God, 70-20, and like I'm watching the Washington game, but I'm seeing what's that score, or I don't know if they played at 1, I think, and it was like 35-10 at half, and I'm like, they're on pace for 70, and you say that like, and it never happens. Like, they have 42 in the third quarter, you know what I mean? But it never actually happened. Well, this time it actually happened. And we were texting yesterday, and I was like, I think I might have said it first, and then you said it again later, like the hot take from last week. I was like,
it almost happened. Literally the next week, it almost happened, which I couldn't. And I thought Mike White played for the Broncos. I thought you texted me saying he was in. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I don't even know who's Mike. Is he on the Commanders?
Mike White was the Jets' backup last year.
Yeah, but where is he now? Who did he come in for?
Tua.
Oh, so it was the same game. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So I meant when he came in, I was like, oh, Mike White came in, and he had an open receiver. I don't even know if it was Tyreek or not. Had an open receiver, gone, touchdown. I'm like, holy shit.
A buddy of mine actually won a lot of money on Mike White because the week he started, was it 2 years ago now? First game he started, he bet on him to lead the league that week in passing yards, and he did it. And the odds were insane, and he won a lot of money just randomly. So he was he was a very popular character in our fantasy league for a bit there. But yeah, 70 points is just insane, and it's only happened two other times in history.
Both Washington was involved
both ways. That's right. Yep.
One good, one not so good.
What was that one of the NFL championships? Was it 70-0?
73-0. December 8th, 1940. Okay. I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
those the pre-Super Bowl games. And then they won a regular season game, I think, by scoring 7.
It was 72-48 or 41 against the Giants.
That Sports Almanac book, I remember, had that game in there. That one I used to read back in elementary school. And I also remember there was a picture of a Dolphin. I think it was a Dolphin Super Bowl against the Redskins. Number 13 was catching the touchdown. And I was like, why is Dan Marino? Elementary school, I was like, why is Dan Marino getting such a touchdown? I couldn't conceptualize that.
Right.
But yeah, those are those are some old games. But
in a way, I was rooting for them to score again, because when I was like, they had like open field. They almost scored a touchdown to make it 77. But then like I actually respect it. I mean, the record's one thing. Washington technically has the regular season record for most points scored because that was a championship game.
Right.
But even still, like I think it shows a lot of class and character that they didn't kick that field goal. They were in range, and like that's history right there. But
that's right. I didn't think of that. They could have had the record 73. Right?
Yeah, but he's like, I think it is a little bit of like have some respect for the game.
Yeah,
but there's also history on the line.
Well, there was even one of the touchdowns to Mostert. It was a 3rd and 6, I think, and they're on the 30 or so, sort of field goal range, and he just threw a little out route to him, nothing crazy, and he just took it to the house.
Right.
If they tackled him, it would have field goal, and they wouldn't have, probably put up 70, but they couldn't stop them. So good times, and that's another thing where like these running backs come in. Achina or something, the other guy from the Dolphins, Mostert, and he came in and he got 2 touchdowns and 203 yards. Yeah. So, my question is, so that means the Dolphins scored 70 points and they scored 36 week 1 against the Chargers, and they only scored 24 against the Patriots. So, does that mean the Patriots have a better defense than people thought? Or, I mean, people thought they had a good defense, but people were kind of clowning on the Patriots defense to start, where it was 3 high safeties.
Yeah.
But maybe that was the right decision, because Tyreek literally caught a 50-yard touchdown the very first drive of the game against the Broncos.
Right.
So maybe that was the right call. Maybe, only giving up 24 is actually pretty good looking back at it.
The way that offense, I mean, it's a combination of bad defense, but also like they're scoring a lot of points. They had a thing yesterday. It was like in one game the Dolphins scored 70 points, and then like there's Washington, of course, is in there, and like maybe like 5 other teams or so that haven't scored even 70 in 3 weeks.
Probably the Patriots. Patriots are definitely on there.
They might be on there.
Yeah.
It was a short list, but it was probably like 6 teams or so.
I don't even know the last time. I don't even know the last time the Patriots scored 30 points in a game. Maybe against the Vikings. No, I don't think so. I don't know when they scored. They put a 50 burger up on the Jaguars Max rookie year. That might have been the last time they scored a lot of points.
See, that's always Washington's problem too.
Yeah.
They can't if you can't score. I mean, it's one thing like your defense shuts down another offense, but if you can't score, if you're scoring in the teens and you can barely get into the 20s, you're not going to win a lot of games.
No.
But that, again, I think that it showed a lot about Miami, but it also showed a lot about Denver. Denver's 0-3. Sean Payton was obviously heated in the post game. I don't know if you saw some of it. He's got a little short with people.
Sean Payton's a dirtbag. Because when all that Bountygate stuff happened and all that news came out about him being like a pill popper and the guy who kind of told on him for whatever you want to call it, breaking the law, he got him fired and stuff. It was all awkward, weird stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that comes out in like the lawsuit afterwards. You don't see it and like they don't really report on it, but then you see it all come out and whatever. It couldn't happen to a classier guy. And as much as they were a poop show last year with their coach, whose name escapes me, who's now the offensive coordinator for the Jets, he still talked crap about him, which is like, it seems like a talk about class. Oof.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah. So,
but he was, apparently even said last year when he wasn't coaching that Tua was going to get benched. He predicted that Tua would get benched this year.
Well, it's really awkward. It's really awkward when you. So if you're done being a coach and you go into the commentary like a Mariucci, just do it forever. Never come back.
Yeah.
They just do it forever.
Right.
Why? Because you say. I mean, you get that's part of the job. I get it, but then you got to come and see these people. Whatever.
That's going to be an interesting one too, because I feel like Denver's they are in a pickle with Russ's contract, with Peyton.
Yeah, it hasn't kicked in yet.
It's just they're in such a.
Keep an eye on that hot take.
That's.
You heard it here first, folks.
Week one, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to get benched. And actually, somebody from Miami, I think I sent you the link yesterday. Somebody from Miami, one of the cornerbacks, was like,
he called him out for not benching him, right?
Right, because you're down by so many. Like, and again, like, not that he wasn't. Russ didn't play terrible stat wise, but it's also like when you're down by that much and that is your starting quarterback, like, bro, why risk him getting hurt if he's your starter, regardless of how good he's playing or not? You take him out of that game.
It's even like yesterday, the Chiefs were up 31-0, and Mahomes rolled his ankle or got it rolled under someone. So it's like that's not great.
Whether you're up big or you're down big late in the game, don't risk it. You're down by they lost by 50. 50. Like that. Why have him in?
He didn't want the hot take to come true. He must have watched the show. He said, no way.
He told Payton, he's like, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. I'm not going to be part of the hot take. Oh, man. This was another one, a back and forth. And I think I mistakenly took Tennessee. I mistakenly took fucking Minnesota at home. And it was a back and forth game. The Chargers have been in nothing but back and forth games. Mm-hmm. And they pull it out at the end.
Yeah. And Staley went for it on 4th and 1 in like his own 20. And his defense really bailed him out there. Yeah. Which is weird because the week before he didn't go for it on the 44, the opponent's side on 4th and 1. Which is weird because he's like one of those big gung-ho go for it on 4th down guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really bailed him out there. Herbert's my quarterback in fantasy, so he really lit it up, which was delightful. But the Chargers will just always be the Chargers, whether it's Phillip Rivers.
I know. It's so weird that like Washington is a perfect example again, but like so weird that like year after year and like decade after decade, like generation after generation, like a team can still be the same team with different fucking players and coaches.
I mean, what was the year they went 14-2? And they lost to the 10-6 Patriots, I think, in the playoffs in like 2005 or 6 at home. That was a game that LaDainian Tomlinson was really mad at Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah.
But that team should have done more. I think it was the year the LT got 40 touchdown, whatever, some stupid number, like broke a record. But You're right. It's generation. That was 2005, and here we are in 2023, and the same thing's happening.
Different quarterback and different players.
It's got to be so awkward playing for that team because you literally play 17 away games. You don't play a single game at home. No one's going to LA to watch the Chargers. Even the Rams, the 49ers, I think, sold more tickets that at the Rams home game. There was more 49ers fans.
Right.
And it's just going to be draining. It has to be. It just can't be. It just can't be good. Can't be good. You're a tenant in someone else's home.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. But again, if you were a good enough team,
yeah,
you could pull it out. But it is a lot. 17, like you're basically playing that many road games. But whatever. I'm gonna save those two. Houston over Jacksonville. Again, I got suckered into Trevor Lawrence and
Houston. I guess I'm writing these down, but Houston has the Jaguars' number. They've beaten them like 9 out of the past 11 times or something like that. Yeah, which didn't think about that. But now I'm thinking, Stroud played well. Stroud played well. Stroud, right?
Stroud, yeah.
Yeah.
They love him over there.
Yeah. Good for them. Pierce is my running back in fantasy, so getting good on you. And that was a good game. Minshew, it's a backup. I mean, yeah, and the Colts had their backup. I mean, sorry, I'm thinking it's a different game. But the Jags have T-Law, and I'm trying to think, that's what I heard. So, and again, this is through the grapevine of just like people reading tweets and reporters and stuff like that. And they were saying that up until halftime, the Jaguars had someone else calling the offensive plays, someone who had never done it before, any level of football, similar to like a Matt Patricia situation. And then at halftime, Peterson took it back over, the head coach, and they looked a lot better.
Yeah.
But what is wrong if this is true? Because again, just hearing it through report, whatever. What are these teams doing? What are you doing? Like Bill Belichick last year, you're Bill Belichick, and you have a defensive coordinator be your offensive. What? If I'm just some schlub sitting in this studio, that's a bad idea. What are you doing?
Yeah, but then it's like, you know what? Then I assume that there's some sort of politics going on behind the scenes potentially.
Yeah, I mean, like McDaniels for the Patriots started off as an offensive assistant, and then he was the tight end coach, and then he was this, and he was that, and so he goes up through the system. But I don't know. I got to find out who the other guy is for the Jags because that's just poor. It's just poor.
And they have plenty of weapons, but you score 17. I didn't know that the Houston had their number.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It fucking showed yesterday. They should have won that game.
Also, and they always say any given Sunday, which is totally true, but especially a divisional game, anything can happen. Anything.
That's the bitch about. I mean, you could have a team that's down and out, and they just beat you.
Look at the Cardinals-Cowboys game, which we'll get to.
I loved it, actually. So we touched on the Colts record. Matt Gay had 4 field goals over 50 yards. I think he went 5 for 5, and he had 4 field goals over 50 yards, which is, I think, a record.
That is bananas.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's like a new thing where kickers are just fucking booting them from somebody else yesterday. Was it yesterday that they had they kicked a 61-yarder and hit it?
That's it.
Prater?
Who's he kicking for now? These guys switch off so many teams.
Arizona, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I think you're right, yeah.
I know Tucker tried to kick one that was he was like just short.
One thing that was weird in that game is they went for the 2-point conversion. It was not the Cardinals. It was 9-3, and they went for the 2-point conversion, and I don't know why. I don't know what 11-3, what difference that would make. Maybe they're just feeling ballsy, but good on them because they wound up winning. But it was crazy. But yeah, good for Matt Gay. He was my kicker of my World Championship fantasy team, so I always have a lot of love for him. I think he was with the Rams when I had him. But that is wild. Yeah, these guys, the leg strength just get crazier and crazier. The Patriots when Folk was our kicker, we knew if it was anything beyond 45 yards, they probably were going to either go forward or punt it.
Yeah.
The new kid Ryland has a leg, but I think he has like 5 field goal kicks this year, and none of them have been shorter than 49 yards.
Jeez.
Give him some chip shots, please.
But that was still surprising, though, that Baltimore loses at home.
Yep.
But, I mean, you're getting 4 field goals within 50 yards. So they really didn't have to go very far to score points.
That was a game. That's why I said their backup quarterback, because the Colts, Minshew was playing.
Yeah,
so like that's what I was thinking of. And, yeah, again, it's a divisional game. No, it's not. Is it? Colts. No. But yeah, just
you had me thinking too.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Minshew just came in and was balls. Good for him. How's Odell Beckham been? I haven't really heard his name.
I think that says everything.
Another similar situation. Oh, that was in that. Oh yeah, so I was listening to some post game show and they were saying Zay Flowers got mugged in OT and they didn't call it on like a pass interference. So I'd have to look at the replay. Zach Moss though, coming in for the running back there who was on like leave. Who's the best running back in the league like 2 years ago? Oh God. I'm really bad with names today. I must be really tired. The Colts.
Oh, Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor. So Zach Moss came in yesterday. And this is why running backs are kind of interchangeable. Zach Moss comes in and just goes for like a touchdown, 100 yards, 2 receptions. He had 100. Okay, so Zach Moss had 30 carries for 122 yards. And they had 2 catches for 23 yards and a touchdown. So this guy just pops in and runs 122 yards.
Then it just shows the expendability of the star backs.
In the Browns game last week, when Chubb got hurt, that dude came in and just got 120 or something, just from the 5th round, just one off. And so it's like,
which even that they did say that I think it was just his MCL because that looked bad.
It looked real bad.
With Chubb, they're like, he's done completely, but they're like, it's just his MCL, which I mean. Who knows? But I mean, it looked like it was a lot worse. Yeah. Seattle at home over Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I went with Geno and company.
I like the Geno story. I'm happy for him. And then him coming back with everything. I'm trying to look at my fantasy score here. But yeah, I'm happy for Geno. He was my fantasy quarterback last week, my waiver wire pickup. So always rooting for that guy. But I like to see those guys who stick it out and wind up getting a starting job somewhere. That's pretty cool. But the Panthers are just to be expected. They're bad, and
they're so bad.
And their first round pick is hurt. So, but Andy Dalton played. That's right.
I know. That's what I was going to say because when I saw him, I go, fucking Andy Dalton still playing.
He turned into a journeyman backup. He can still do it.
361, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But again, you're at home. Seattle's at home.
Yeah.
They're riding a little bit of the Geno wave right now. So.
And I picked up Thielen off the waiver wire in fantasy, and I did not play him. And he also had a very good game. So my bench had a good game this week.
He had a great fucking game. 11 for 145 and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks for him, so I might have to play him next week. We'll see.
Depending on who they have, I guess. But
yeah.
Carolina 0-3. They're looking like one of the worst.
I'm not
teams.
good with like matchups in fantasy. My strategy always has been volume. Do they get a lot of targets? Do they get a lot of carries?
Yeah.
People are like, they're playing this, and they give those points to fantasy to wide receivers in the league, and it's too much for me. I can't.
When you're saying that like based on like how you draft or how you play week to week.
How you play week to week. So people stream. That's why I say. I draft my team, and then the first week I never change the lineup. I just go for it. Like people are picking up and dropping people right away. Nope. I just pick up the dudes I drafted unless there's an injury. I play my guys, and then I hope for the best. And now I'm into the third. And the first week my opponent scored 50. My second week the opponent scored 150. So I have no idea how I would because I won the first game obviously, lost the second game, but now I'm like, is my team good?
But see, that's the thing. Like, and it depends on the scoring too. But like, I'll get the night that we draft for the Cheese League. Yeah. I'll get a trade request from Cheese. And I don't like to do the trades. Sometimes I think maybe I pull the trigger on like one in like 4 years or something. But like I'll get an offer from him right away. But then you look at like he's somebody that moves and shakes.
Yeah.
So like I had a decent week when I was playing him. We're both undefeated, and he had 111 points. And he only started 4 people. But Buffalo's defense. 32 fucking points right there. So it's like, it's hard to gauge.
Yeah. One of my best trades ever was with Cheese when I traded him Michael Thomas, who was injured at the time, but he was supposed to come back for Eli Mitchell before CMC showed up.
Yeah.
And Michael Thomas never came back. So it was a good trade for me.
All right. This is the game that we actually we have some decent commentary on. Chiefs at home against the Bears. It's exactly, which I think it was, maybe it was after we had filmed last week's episode where Fields came out, and I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was somewhat taken out of context, but he
did say it.
He did fucking say it. It's just like when you read something, it looks worse than how they say it.
Yeah.
But it is still like, he's like, oh, just getting coached too much, and it's too much in my head, and I can't think about those things. Like,
you're just dumb.
Huh? What? They're coaching you directly on how to fucking play the game.
Right.
I just can't think, because again, some of it goes off of how they play in college, especially at the quarterback position. If you have the ability to just kind of like run and run your offense however you want and do your thing, because you have more open field.
Yeah.
It's different. And like when you get to the pros, you're not going to be like towards the end, it's like Brady's running his offense.
Yeah.
Peyton's running his offense.
Yeah.
Maybe Rivers is running his offense, or Big Ben.
Yep.
To some extent.
Yeah.
But they had to get to that point.
Yeah.
They needed to get coached in order to like, all right, now I have a handle on the game.
Like in Super Bowl 31, Brady only threw for 150 yards. It wasn't the crazy
that
game.
guy.
There you go. Yeah. So it wasn't some. Yeah. It wasn't some. In as much, I feel like for the Brady Belichick thing, we could always get to a later episode. Like Brady kind of carried the last three. Belichick was more the first three. But yeah, you're right. In college, the offenses are much more it's much more spread offense. The defenses aren't as exotic. You don't get a lot of different reads, different looks. And if you can just get through on like athleticism alone. But if you're not smart, and you can't take coaching, then I can see you not really succeeding too much in the NFL. But it's also tough when the guys have like 3 different coaches in 3 years.
That is true too. Like, because I feel like coming out of college, guys get kind of like fucked with that.
Yeah.
But then it's also like if you're playing at a big school, you're going to play some bums.
Yeah.
Where you're going to look fucking fantastic.
Right.
So it's like, it's a completely different game. So I listened to that and I was like, all right, it maybe looked worse on paper, but he definitely said it. But worst team in the league?
Between them, at least the Panthers showed some fight. So, yeah, I could say so.
I got to be careful because Washington plays them in 2 weeks, and I don't want to fucking...
I mean, they won 2 or 3 games last year, and one of those wins was against the Patriots. But they're definitely on Monday Night Football. The Eagles are in the red zone right now, so I was peeking over. I need Goddard to get a touchdown, and I'll not Swift, though. Anyone but him. Literally anyone but him. Thank you. So, what was I saying?
Well, the big thing
Bears,
about...
worst team in the league. Fold the team, bring back the steamroller. 1928 NFL champions, Providence Steamroller. My shirt is in the hamper, so I didn't wear it.
Oh, man, you're going to wear it week 1,
yes,
too.
I know. I wore it I'm on my flight to North Carolina, but yeah. I haven't done laundry.
Fair enough. The big story of that game... And I don't know why, and I'm glad you put this down as a note because I don't even know where to start. But we'll start with Taylor Swift was at the fucking game, okay? Because she's obviously dating Kelsey, right? Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to make a ploy of like, oh, he shot his shot, she came. They're dating each other, right? I mean, at this fucking point, number one. Number two, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Why? Like, ESPN only has so many headlines on their main page. Now... It's during football Sunday, right? But even worst case, college just happened. All those fucking games on Saturday, all these fucking games and all the stories from Sunday. And one of the headlines, and they only have so many, was, "This is a love story" or something. I'm like, ESPN, this is why you're failing. That's a TMZ article. Like, I just didn't understand the whole thing of like, Taylor Swift went to a football game because she's dating one of the receivers. Dope. That's fine, but like, who fucking cares? Go ahead. You got to take it because I'm going to get too hot on this.
I don't know. That cameraman, whoever the cameraman was that was fixated on her in the booth, had the easiest job of his life because he literally never moved. It was literally a hard cam on Taylor Swift. My only thing with Kelsey is like, Kelsey, you could probably go out to dinner, go to a movie, and not really care. Not everyone's going to recognize Travis Kelce, even though he's in like a million commercials now.
Sure.
But he can't do that anymore. Taylor Swift, she's way too, there's like different levels of celebrity, and she's way too celebrity for that. And my only hot take is that I'm sure she's a lovely woman. very tired of seeing Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce's mother. She's in the commercials.
You said that, and I go, I've never seen her before.
She's in like the Write the Script commercials now. She did the Super Bowl stuff with them last year, which I get because they're playing each other. But it's like, Mama Kelce. Okay, it's over. I'm done.
I know, and I said, I go, how do you know her? I've never seen her, but like again, the rock I live under is mighty, even when I'm watching football.
I mean, he has really picked up his commercial game in the last year. Now he's in the State Farm commercials.
Yeah,
I think he did a commercial for like Get Your Flu Shots, and he was doing like Grubhub. Oh gosh, it's just like
he's got the podcast with his brother, and they had the documentary and all that stuff. I also just don't understand. Again, I'm sure she's fine. the fandom over the celebrity and is she the Pope? Is she the second coming?
She is next. I mean,
I don't get it.
I'm sure, same thing. I'm sure she's lovely.
We need to keep saying that. I'm sure she's lovely.
I'm sure she is. I've never met her. She's just like that next, I don't know, that next tier of celebrity. Like there was one of the people I think it was one of my cousins. She just came to Gillette for those shows. Three nights.
Yeah.
She went to every single show. What's going on?
We're wasting money.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What the fuck are we doing?
What are we doing here?
That's ludicrous.
It is.
It's too much. And again, the story of show her one time. But also, I need to point this out because I don't know. Did you watch? You saw the clip. I've never seen somebody clap so stiff. Has she never clapped before? In your free time, watch her clap. It hurt my soul. And nobody's talking about it, apparently.
Is this real clapping or is this fake clapping? She did say, let's effing go, which I appreciated. She did chest bump whoever her pal was on the side. This reminded me of the year that the Saints were in the Super Bowl. I think it was the year they won the Super Bowl, and Reggie Bush was dating Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And there was an over-under of how many times they were going to show her. It was a Fox broadcast, and they never showed her.
Really?
Yeah. She was on the field after the game, but she was like, they didn't do it intentionally. She just happened to be there because she was celebrating with him.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that, Fox. CBS, not so much.
It's just, again, it's cool. I don't even think
it was
that
too
cool.
much. It was too much.
Because it's a fucking football game. Who cares if she was there?
My guess is that there was a lot of people watching who had never watched football before. A lot of Swifties, if you will.
Yeah, they're fucking cold.
They had to rope them in somehow. And now the Chiefs are gonna. Their Instagram. I'm curious. I am curious of this actually. What their Instagram followers went from yesterday to today. I'm actually very curious about
I bet you them Kelce jerseys went way up.
So when I don't think Taylor Swift is on the level of Messi because that's just a totally different stratus. Again, you got like stratospheres here. And Messi, when he went to Miami, their Instagram followers shot into like the millions plus. Like they passed like freaking the Real Madrids of the world.
Right.
So I would be curious to see what the Chiefs' Instagram following went to. I'm actually going to Google it.
It's just while you're Googling, I think it took away from the ass kicking that they gave Chicago.
If anything, the Bears should be thanking her because no one talked about them getting annihilated.
Right. They got the shit. And if it wasn't for Denver getting completely, I mean, they lost by 50.
Yep.
Losing by 31 to the Chiefs didn't look as bad. But again, when you're watching Taylor Swift.
Yeah. This first article from 5 hours ago from Sportskeeda. Travis Kelce's Instagram following skyrockets by 276%. Jersey sales take 400% hike after Taylor Swift link up.
It's just
good business. It's good business.
It's great business. It really is. But you know what bothers me? It bothers the people who are following and buying because of that. But that's what bothers me, and that's a whole nother conversation that I ain't even gonna get into. But I'm glad you wrote that down. I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. Like, I'm sure she's great. I like some of her songs, but like, what the fuck are we doing?
What are we doing? Let's see if she's there for the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll keep tabs.
You better watch out because she'll write a whole album about you. And then all those Swifties will burn your jersey, and they'll turn on you, so you don't fuck up.
That's right. Yeah.
Arizona and Dallas. That was a pleasant game to watch for me after Washington got their ass kicked. But Dak threw a bad pick at the end. Like, They are who we thought they were.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that had to do with Diggs' injury, which we have to mention, towards ACL in practice. Which sucks.
That's a big loss.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a smart enough X's and O's person to watch a defensive scheme and say yes, it's because of their cornerback. But the number one, quarterback, your first quarterback,
yeah, it's not
something. Yeah. But kudos to the Cardinals for, and not just this game, but every game so far, they've been in it. They're fighting.
They could be
3-0. Yeah. A lot of people, especially with them starting Dobbs, thought they were going to just roll over and tank for Caleb, for the USC quarterback. But they're not doing it, so good on them. Good on them. The real question is going to be if the Bears are the worst team in the league and they go 1-16 or whatever, do they dump Fields and take the kid from USC?
I thought, and it could just be because politics and not showing your hand, I thought that Caleb Williams said he wasn't.
Oh, he's not coming out?
I thought I heard that he wasn't going to come out, but that could just be don't show your hand.
Depends
you don't
who
want
the
a bad
team
situation.
Is. Yeah, now with the NIL stuff, they're not as hurting to come out. Not that, I'm sure there's always been handshake deals and stuff. But yeah, they can make a ton of money.
That's an interesting one because say Arizona ends up with the first pick. They took Josh Rosen at number 10.
Yeah.
The very next year took Kyler at 1.
Yep.
And Kyler's in his third year.
Yeah, with an ACL.
And you could potentially
do it again.
Take another quarterback, and that's within 5 years. You took 3 quarterbacks in the top 10.
Just keep shooting your shot. Eventually it'll stick, I guess.
I mean, again, I wouldn't have picked Kyler.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I don't like the shorter dudes. Little too short for my tastes.
I feel you.
And he scoots too much. Got too injured.
He just looked good that first year, but I'm like, settle down.
Yeah, his body is not built for it. He's too small. It's like me going out there and getting annihilated. I get broken in half.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. Pittsburgh over the Raiders, 23-18.
McDaniels is the worst.
God, he's so bad.
So bad. Why did you kick a field goal down 8 with like 2 minutes and 15 seconds left? Math. I don't understand.
Just to shorten the lead. I mean, I don't get it either.
I just don't. I don't get it. It makes. I'm trying to. And the way he described it was like you're gonna get the football back at least one more time. You're not guaranteed to. So if you're not guaranteed to get the ball back, or you still have to. He said you still have to get the ball back one more time. It's like, well, no, you don't, because you could get the 2-point conversion. This isn't the 1980s anymore.
Right.
Yeah, so he's just dumb. Now again, we're playing there in a few weeks, and we all know what happened last year when the Patriots played. So I can't. But I don't know. And that whole situation there is weird too with the Jimmy G and
3
the
picks.
car. Yeah, and he did the exact same thing when he went to the Broncos because Cutler was there, and then he ran him out of town after the first year, and now we're just doing it all over again.
The Raiders are just in a they're in a spot not as bad as Denver, but an interesting spot, I think.
Yeah, and it's so funny because the whole talk during last year's offseason was how the AFC West was all, it was an arms race. It was an arms race to beat Kansas City, and then they all
that division is
it's ugly.
It's definitely ugly. And then we're save the best 2 for last. I'll kick it off, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
37-3.
Yeah. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, fucking kicking the field goal at the end was like literally just so they didn't get fucking a 0.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, fine, but to me, it's like I don't know. I think I said this to you too, that 37-3. And this is a bold fucking statement, but Buffalo didn't impress me as much as we fucked ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Howell threw 4 picks and got sacked 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, the opportunities were there. And that's not to take anything away from Buffalo's defense, because their D-line was swallowing up. Our offensive line is our worst spot. Even coming into this year, is like, that's going to be the biggest question mark, is their offensive line. So credit to their defense. They sacked the kid 10 times. Some of it was his fault, holding the ball, his decision making. This is his 4th start.
Yeah.
but a lot of it was that line getting just fucking chewed up. They're rushing 4 and getting to Howell.
I'm just glad. I'm glad they kept him in and let him take his lumps. Let him take his lumps. He's a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
Jess's father thinks he's the next Tom Brady. I don't know if we're already that quite hot.
Now that's a bold
scorching
statement.
take. But let him take his lumps. I hate when these teams they immediately give up on a guy like a Zach Wilson. It's his 3rd year now. Now it's time to cut and run. But Howell, it's his 4th start. Let him take his lumps. It's gonna happen. Keep him in there. Trial by fire kind of thing. Stop going to the well with like the Matt, not the Commanders did this, but the Matt Ryans, the Wentzes, that kind of stuff. So yeah, let him. And I think I replied to you saying you saw it in the Jets Bills Monday Night Football game. All the Bills just didn't throw 4 interceptions and then fumble it.
Right.
And then it would. Of course, it's a turnover game. So yeah, and also they just capitalized the Bills in this game. They just capitalized on all the mistakes. That's what you got to do.
I mean, Allen looked good as far as like Washington did a good job on their man-to-man.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, they did get chewed up a little bit, but like what was happening is
short fields.
The receivers are all getting locked up, and nobody. They even said in the press conference, like, who was being the spy?
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody because Allen would just get loose.
Yeah.
And he killed us with that. But I said the same thing to my father after that game. I was like, I'm not as bitter about getting our ass kicked because he needs to have a shit game.
Yeah.
This is how you learn. And I know the league is like so unforgiving with quarterbacks. They don't develop them right.
Way too short of a leash, yeah.
Let the kid, and you know what? Then he threw that 4th pick and it was horrible. It's like, you know what? Fuck it, throw him back out there. I mean, as long as you're not putting him in a position to get hurt. But towards the end, it was like he got sacked 10 fucking times. But like, it's very unlikely that you'd have a worse game than throwing 4 picks and getting sacked 10 times and getting beat, almost shut out.
10 times is a lot.
They might have marked 9, but I thought it was 10.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like if this was in a situation where we had a Wentz or one of those other quarterbacks you're talking about, we got our ass kicked, I'd be like, come on, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
But he's in his 4th start.
Yeah.
You got to develop him.
Yeah. Let him go, watch the film, and come back stronger.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then we have
oh boy,
New England and the Jets, which is like I really wanted to flip that game on towards the end because it was getting dicey, and I couldn't watch it because it was on the local. Yeah. But what do you have to say for yourself? Barely beating the Jets.
You're gonna get the W. That's all that matters. That's all I care about. The game was terrible. It was a boring game. And Jess actually had a birthday party to go to, so I was like, "Don't worry, you're not missing anything." It was just me and Ella watching. It was pretty brutal. I think Bill Belichick knows that he just knows with Zach Wilson he can just play basic, stack the box to stop the run, to start the 1st and 2nd down, and then just play as man as you can and lock them down because he can't do it. He made like 1 or 2 passes the whole entire game. He just can't do it.
Right.
And the only reason there weren't more points is because neither team turned it over. So there was no like pick 6 that could have happened or short fields. The Patriots didn't have 1 play in the red zone. Not one.
Really?
Their touchdown was off of a broken play to our 3rd string tight end. It was like a 50-something yard touchdown. It was brutal. And Stevenson didn't have a great game. I really hate that the shotgun runs. I don't think that's his forte, but they do it with him all the time, and I have no idea why. Zeke actually had a pretty good game running, better than Stevenson.
Mm.
And Juju is just cooked. He's cooked. I don't know what they're thinking with that. I don't know what.
I was trying to trade him in fantasy from week 1.
I don't know. They let Jacoby walk for like a little bit more money. Not terrible, but like they had enough to make up for it. It's like it's a homegrown kid that you developed. Why'd you get Juju?
So you get Juju.
Yeah, and his knee from what Albert Breer reported, his knee is like gonna explode any minute now. So he just looks like he doesn't have it. He looked good last year, but he also had Mahomes passing him the ball. There was 2 third-down conversions that they had to make. They had 3 chances. Yeah, Goddard, get that catch. They had, I think that was Goddard. Was it? Wait, that's not Goddard. You son of a pig. Oh, man. They had 3 drives in a row where all they needed was a first down to close the game out, and they couldn't get it once. And last week they had a drive to end the game. If they scored, they would have tied it. Couldn't score. The week before that, they had 1 drive to win. Couldn't do that. It's like, holy shit.
But it came down to like the Jets had 2 opportunities within the last couple minutes. It seemed like
it was funny because they had the ball in like the 5, and then they got a safety. It was 13-10, And the safety actually helped the Jets because it helped them flip the field. So instead of punting it from the 1 yard line, they had a free kick punt after the safety, and he boomed it to the 20. And it just completely flipped the field on us. And yeah, and it gave him a chance. And then the Hail Mary landed in the arm. It hit the arm of a Jet, and he just couldn't bring it in. I would have freaking shit a brick if that happened. Oh my God, that game was so bad.
Zach Wilson, worst quarterback in the league
that I've watched. He's so bad. You can't make like some guys you can say like, oh, that was a nice throw. He doesn't do it ever. And he has a stupid headband or whatever it is. He never makes any throw.
I know but like you said, this is year 3, and again coming out, I felt bad. I was like, like I said last week, I was telling Cheese, I'm like, oh, dude, he looks good, and he's fucking terrible. But I was watching a video earlier of Greeny from ESPN.
Yep,
and he's like,
he's a Jets fan.
Oh, a huge Jets fan.
Yeah. I used to listen to Mike and Mike.
I loved Mike and Mike. Yeah, he was on. And he was saying, he goes, you cannot put Zach Wilson back out there. You just cannot do it. And he's right. Like, at this point, why even try?
Yeah.
With him, I'm saying, like, he don't have it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And Belichick, Belichick's he still is a good defensive coach. Like, no matter what you saw. We just said about the Dolphins scoring 24, and they score 70 the week after. He just has his number, but it's not like he played well against the Bills. He had that touchdown pass was more Wilson than him. And then obviously last week they did nothing they scored 10 points against the Cowboys. Yeah. So he's just, if I'm Robert Saleh, unless you know for a fact that Rodgers is coming back next year, but he's going to come back at 39, 40 with the busted up Achilles.
Yeah.
You're coaching for your job because
I would think so too. Yeah.
And, I just said how I don't like going out and getting those guys who are, Matt Ryan's of the world, the Carson Wentz and stuff, but anything's going to be better than him. Andy Dalton is better than him. Well, Joe Flacco is better than him, and they had him as a backup, and they let him go.
Well, apparently they reached out to Chad Henne, and Henne was like, I'm good. And I don't know if they reached out to Matt Ryan, but he saw he was
good.
Yeah, he said he's good. Yeah. But then also Carson Wentz reached out to the Jets. I bet he did. And then somebody else, I think they said
Phillip Rivers, maybe.
I don't know. Somebody else also apparently reached out to the Jets, and I don't know what they're doing because I think again, like that one injury to Rodgers could blow up this whole thing.
Yeah,
like Saleh could be like coaching for his job.
I think you could put literally anyone into that offense.
Who's their backup? Who's the backup to the backup? The assistant to the regional manager.
I think they signed a guy. They must have had a third quarterback in camp, I would imagine. But
practice squad, maybe they gotta have somebody else.
Like even the Mike White was, better than him. Anyone, a fourth. Oh gosh, it's just wild. That entire draft class of quarterbacks is just brutal. Between him, Fields, him, Mac Jones, and Mac, he didn't make mistakes, which is good. But again, just get some sort of killer instinct and just freaking end the game. Our offensive line isn't great either, but we had 2 third downs where both plays went to Juju, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Juju, interception. It was like weird. It was like 3rd and 6, and he goes for like a 20-yard bomb, misses it completely. 3rd and 3, and him and Juju also aren't on the same page. So I don't know what's happened over there, but at least they won. Because if they started 0-3, the season's over. So you had to avoid that.
What we said. 0-2 isn't as bad because there's 17 games. You hit 3. Tim Boyle is their backup.
Okay.
Out of East Kentucky, is in his 5th season. You might as well start the Boyle because the Wilson's not doing it for you.
Yep.
All right, so that was all our picks from last week. I don't have my record in front of me. I did very poorly compared to week 2.
Yeah, like I said, I got to start writing this down.
I know. I try to run through it again and be like, who did I pick? But I want to have like a tally to see like where we're at in total. So, okay, so I guess we'll flip to your. You got the same one this week, or did you change?
This is my athletic. This is my Run Wild IPA. This is a non-athletic brew.
A non-athletic brew?
Yeah.
Or non-alcoholic?
Oh, no. Oh, God.
It's an athletic brew.
That athletic
no alcohol.
is the brew. They're out of Connecticut. It's really good. I really enjoy it.
I have high quality H2O.
Oh man.
I do have the Modelo lights. I didn't get anything, so I figured you would have something. So I'll leave that up to you. So that is the beer of the week.
Yeah,
is the non-alcoholic.
I heard about this from John Moxley, former WWE, former AEW World Champion.
Shout out Dean Ambrose.
Yep.
Let's get to. I hope.
Safety. Sorry, they just intercepted it.
They're the Jokers, dude.
Yeah.
They are the Jokers. It's Baker, dude. I'm sorry. Like, the Cinderella story. Yeah, we're 2-0. It's Baker, bro. I'm sorry.
That was gosh, what was that? They intercepted it on the 1, and then they just immediately bum rushed them. And this is not a very good play call. What do you like the? So you stack the line to the right and you run it to the left.
Yeah. It also, like,
that was weird.
the what was it? The 3-step drop to the handoff.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna pass it, dude. You need to, like, you got to get up there faster. And again, you go to the left.
Yeah. Okay.
Horrible play call.
I'm losing fantasy by 2 points now, by the way. And right now, Swift is like kicking my ass. Because
Taylor.
Yeah. What? Yeah. But I have White going. I have Chase in the other game. Goddard, who hasn't done shit. I'm so freaking mad at Goddard. You have no idea. And she only has Swift. Fuck my life. Okay, whatever. If I lose this game, I'm pissed. I should have won this game. But we'll see.
I'm going to lose both of my fantasy leagues this week. What? I hope we have it ready.
What's that?
Because last week's was really good and almost came to fruition. What is Jess's hot take?
She said she didn't have one just yet. She didn't have one just yet.
Okay.
But she said she was thinking about it.
Okay.
Oh God.
Let's see. Let's see. We'll just double into the fantasy real quick. Is she still thinking?
I'll send her a text.
I mean, technology, she can respond pretty quickly.
Yeah, so I'm pretty bummed about this game. Like I said, Goddard on my bench had 18 points. Laporta, and Goddard hasn't done anything for 3 weeks now, and it's really starting to grind my gears. Yeah, really getting on my nerves.
I will say Kirk has done pretty well, stat-wise for my fantasy team, not in general. That one league with the cheese league, I needed Higgins to have a really good game, and that game is 6-3 right now, in the second quarter, just before halftime. So,
hot take of the week.
He has nothing. Oh, here we go.
Just said that oh my God, I can't talk at all. I'm so sorry. The Dolphins are going to self-implode. Doesn't think they're going to keep up this momentum.
I know one thing that could happen that would make that happen.
What, Tua braining himself again?
Yep. Tua getting hurt. So they're going to.
She thinks they're fake. She thinks they're fakers. She thinks they're smelling themselves. Okay. Well, I'm going to speak for her a little bit, and I'm going to say they're smelling themselves a little bit. They're not legit.
However, what made I agree to an extent, but what really made me think that they might be is they acted like they were there. They didn't kick that field goal to get the record. Mm-hmm. They said, "Fuck it." That to me said a lot.
Yeah,
they have the weapons, but again, that's a good hot take. I could see.
I feel like people need to study the Patriots film, because a couple of years ago, I mentioned it last week, the Patriots always did well against Tyreek. Always. So someone needs to watch their defensive film against him and not let him run 50 yards for a touchdown.
One other thing I wanted to say about that Patriots game is I should have realized. I knew they had their number, but I didn't realize that they won the last 14 games against the Jets.
I can't even remember the last game they lost to them 8 years ago now.
I almost sent the butt fumble gift to somebody yesterday.
Gosh, yeah, I don't know the last time they lost to them. And it's funny because Bill Belichick hates the Jets. So,
if you watch the documentary, I'm going to check right now.
Any chase to get a touchdown. Please, Chase. Please.
The last time the Jets beat the Patriots. I don't know. I mean, 14 game. I mean, it must have been, what, 7 years ago?
Yeah. 7, 8 years ago.
Because well, this would be 14, so this would be 15. So they must have won. They must have split 1 year 8 years ago.
Let's see here. 2015. The Jets beat the Patriots. Oh, I remember this game. 26-20. Oh shit.
Excuse me.
Was that the game this might have been the game they kicked off in overtime to Fitzmagic. And then Yep. Fitzpatrick, yep. They kicked it off in overtime stupidly. And and they lost. I remember that game.
Huh.
The Jets scored a touchdown and we never got the ball back. December 27th, 2015. Oh, I remember that game.
8 years ago. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Especially when it's in your division. You're playing the team twice. Right. It's like one thing to be like, well, we haven't beat, we're like 0-14, but we haven't, you like sparsely play a team.
Yeah.
Play twice a year.
Here's just the last 5 games. Patriots 15, Jets 10. Patriots 10, Jets 3. Patriots 22, Jets 17. Patriots 54, Jets 13. Patriots 25, Jets 6. So these like, and then Patriots 28, Jets 14. And then Patriots 30, Jets 27. So that was close. And for the next one, Patriots 33, Jets 0. Some of these games have not.
So they've gotten closer to the Mac Jones era, I think.
Yeah, because 2019 was Brady's last year, 38-3, 30-14, 33-0. And then Cam Newton, they won 30-27. And
I would think that Brady's record against the Jets has got to be something ridiculous.
Oh, God,
he's probably beat them more than any other team, right?
Probably them or the Bills. Yeah. Let me look that up. Versus everyone. Yeah, I'd have to imagine. Because he never played well in Miami. I remember one game we watched, week 1, the Patriots. One of the years they won the Super Bowl, they lost week 1 in Miami. They just always did.
Yeah.
For whatever reason it was. But yeah, I think you're right here. I'm trying to figure out right now. Let's see. They won. He was 24-12 against the Dolphins, 30-7 versus the Jets, and then he was 33-3 against the Bills.
Wow. See, people forget how bad the fucking Bills were.
Well, it's funny because people say, "Oh, the AFC East was always a bad division," but it's like, was it more that, or was it just the Patriots were that good? Because now you see the Chiefs, and their division is.
But I think that like other than the Wildcat Dolphins and the 2 years the Jets had a run, that division didn't go to the playoffs other than New England.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, and honestly, the Wildcat year was the year Brady got hurt, so it was like they missed the playoffs at 11-5.
Yeah. But if you look back, if you want to talk about stats, I'll bring the stats next week for that AFC
bring the
East.
stats.
If you look at their record and you remove the Patriots, so the Patriots' record for the AFC East was actually worse than against all the other divisions in the league when Brady was around. So it's a divisional thing, so that's one thing. But then the East's record against all the other teams, excluding the Patriots, was actually better than the rest of the NFL.
But as far as playoffs, though, I don't think
that's because the Patriots always beat them twice a year.
But I mean, even last year, the NFC East, the whole division almost made the playoffs. So I mean, it is possible.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was last year or the year before where the Patriots made the playoffs, the Dolphins made the playoffs, and the Bills. Yeah, so all 3 of them 2 years ago. Mac Jones rookie year. So I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty wild. I'll bring him next week.
Bring the stats. Bring the stats. All right, week 4 picks.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the Thursday night game. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to take the notes.
Oh, smart.
Because
see, we're growing here. We're evolving.
Week 3 we're really starting to get going here. Week 4, I'm sorry. Week 3 of the podcast. Week 4 picks.
Week 4 on week 3.
Do you want me to take yours too, or are you going to take your own on these picks?
I'll take mine. I'll write it down.
All right. Detroit at Green Bay on the Thursday night game.
Lions favored by 1. I'm not saying close enough. I think the Lions will take that one. Or the Packers are at home. This is a big game for the Lions.
That's the problem because the Packers are at home on a prime time.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Lions.
I'm going to take the Packers.
All right. That's good. I like when they're different.
Atlanta
Falcons at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville favored by 3. I have no faith. I picked them last week and they fucked me. I'm going Atlanta.
I'm going to go with that guy who said that their coach was the wrong coach doing the plays and they switched it. So I'm going to believe that.
Okay.
Anonymous report. Go with the Jags.
As reported by we don't know.
Yep. And then the ninth. Wait, hold on, real quick. Actually, that Falcons Jaguars game should be noted as a 9:30 AA game. That's a London game.
Yeah, that's true.
Which might change some things around.
Good point. That's Jacksonville's second home.
Yep. And then the next game is the worst game of the year.
The worst game of the year?
Yep. The Denver Broncos.
My list is different,
Okay.
so I was like, wait, this game's not that bad.
Sorry, I'll let you read it.
No, go.
The Denver Broncos are at the Chicago Bears.
This is the fucking toilet bowl.
And the Denver Broncos are favored by 3.5. 3.5. The over-under is 46. You might want to hammer that under, folks.
Fuck, dude, I'd hate to say it, but I think Denver.
Yeah, I gotta say Broncos. They're not in as much of a free for all as the Bears are.
Right. 3.5 favorite for Denver, but the over under 46. Hammer that under.
The next one I have here should be interesting. It's the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Cleveland Browns. So the artist formerly known as the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are favored by 2.5. I'm gonna take the Ravens.
I would normally just run with the Ravens here, and I'm going to pick the Ravens because the Browns beat the Titans, who are the fakers of the fucking AFC. So right. I will go Ravens as well.
Yep. Next one here, probably the best game of the week. The Miami Dolphins travel to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are favored by 2.5.
I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
They didn't impress me against us, but it's also because they're at home, and I
think you're right.
Tua's already thrown for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
2.5 point favorite for Buffalo. But you know what? It's early enough in the season where Miami coming up to Buffalo, the weather as far as temperature shouldn't fuck them too bad.
Right.
But I still think that Buffalo's got a little bit more of that like veteran savviness that they'll pull that one out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next one is your Fakers League, Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Carolina Panthers. Vikings 3.5 point favorites.
I'm a fucking sucker, but I'm gonna go Minnesota on the road there.
Oh man, and it's just tough because a lot of these teams, like the Panthers, just had a good week, but they could very easily have a terrible week.
But who's gonna start?
It's true.
You know, is it Dalton that's gonna start?
Yeah.
I think Minnesota is in a desperation mode if they think they're gonna have a shot.
That's true. Yeah, I'll go Vikings probably based off of that because they're 0-3, so their season's already probably over. But it's super over if they're 0-4.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers travel to the Houston Texans.
Oh, perfect. This is actually great timing because this is Joe's Joker of the week.
Oh, there we go.
You can do your money pick if you already know it too, but my Joker of the week is going to be Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh beat the lowly fucking Raiders who are in shambles, I think.
Yep.
Texans actually looked good last week. I'm going to go Houston, and then my Joker of the week is the Steelers.
That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm going to go Steelers. I'm glad the
3-point favorite.
Yep, I'm glad the Steelers. But I mean, if I was a betting man, maybe I'll take the Texans. I'm trying to figure out. Nothing's jumping out to me. Like last week, I saw that Lions game and I knew right away that was my pick. My money pick. But I can't figure it out for some reason. All right. The next one. This one actually might be my money pick. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And they're traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers, who it's not going to be a home game for the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Raiders fans will be there. So this is going to be a home game for the Raiders because they are the team that should have went back to Los Angeles.
So is your money pick? Is this your money pick? Mo's money pick?
It might be.
With the spread here?
5.5 point underdogs. I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
I like that. I like it with the spread, but I'm going to pick the Chargers as a straight up win.
Yeah.
But that is a pretty good pick with the spread.
Yep. I did it. I placed it. $5.
$5
to win $4.55, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Hopefully the Raiders. I mean, God, I just talked about how McDaniels is a shitty coach, and here I am.
Now you're betting on him.
But
betting that fucking Abe Lincoln on him.
Yep, and that's the first 4 o'clock game. The next 4:25 game. Actually, did we skip over who are the Commanders playing next week? The Eagles.
They're playing the Eagles.
They're not here because the Eagles are on TV. On my list, I should say.
Yeah. At Philly.
Yeah. You want to do that one? Should we skip those? Is that fair? It's not fair.
No. Yeah, we have to pick it. You want my heart or my brain?
My brain says Eagles, so I'm going to say Eagles.
My brain, that I don't always listen to, also would say, listen to your heart and go with the Redskins. So Washington comes back and fucking smokes Philly at home.
I'm rooting for you.
Especially the way that this game's looking.
The unfortunate part about that game is that it is the home broadcast on Fox at 1 o'clock, which I was able to determine.
I appreciate it because I was like, I need to ask.
As soon as I saw the Patriots are at 4:25, I was thinking this game is definitely going to be the 1 o'clock game.
So you can catch me at All Stars on Sunday at 1 o'clock watching the Washington Mandalorians.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Go, baby, go.
You want to go to I think that was the last 1 o'clock game, so we can go to the 4:30s.
And then we got the Patriots at the Cowboys. I'm gonna pick the Patriots. Go with my heart on this one too. It is in Dallas. It is in Dallas, and that's a 7-point spread. I feel like that should be my money pick, but I'm not gonna do it.
7 points?
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't. I would fucking love for New England to go in there and kick the dog shit out of Dallas.
Yeah, it should be said that game that the Cardinals won, the Cardinals were at home, which I'm sure helps a lot.
I think so. But y'all struggled against the Jets, so I think my brain is gonna tell me Dallas, and I'm not happy about it. But you know what? I'd be pleasantly surprised if you guys win. That would help me out tremendously.
Mm-hmm. And then we got the Arizona Cardinals visiting the San Francisco 49ers, 14 points. I'm going to say the 49ers for win. That's a big spread, though. That's a really big spread.
Oh, but we had a big one last. There was a couple big ones last week.
The Giants, and the 49ers covered against the Giants. It was like 9.5.
Oh, and then it was Kansas City.
Yeah,
and they
also covered.
They covered too. I will go. Yeah, I'll go with the 49ers in that game. That spread.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I know San Francisco is going to be one of those top teams in the NFC. But if you're watching the Cardinals, like I've been watching the last few weeks, they're 1-2. They could be 3-0.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So,
I'm really curious to see how they do this week. The next one's another big spread with the Chiefs at the Jets, 9.5.
How is that game 9.5 and the other game is 14?
Right. Maybe because it's at New York. Well, usually you'll see if it's at New York, and usually the home team gets like 3 points or so. So that's probably what it is. So this next play right here is very big because the Buccaneers are on the 1 yard line. I have the Bucs running back, so this could be very large for my my fantasy hopes.
Yeah, he missed it.
Yeah, if they punch it in here, give it to him.
They should hand it off. They're smart.
No. Stupid.
As I say, if they're smart, and then they do with a fade route to Evans and completely missed it.
Yep, because I'm losing by 3. Come on, get this guy a touchdown. Sorry, I totally derailed this.
No, it's fine. This is part of see, next week's gonna be tough because there's only one.
It's an 8 o'clock game.
Is one, and it's at 8:15, and it's on ABC or ESPN.
Yeah,
I'm watching on ESPN Plus.
Oh, yeah, they're all gonna be on until the strike's over. They said.
Yeah, but This is just says ABC and ESPN, not ESPN Plus.
Gotcha.
So I don't know what our background
Give it to
is
him.
going to be.
Oh my God, he
was
didn't make
short.
it. Oh my God. This is painful. Yeah, Chiefs 9.5. I mean, I think the Chiefs would even cover that. Honestly,
I will also pick the Chiefs.
Yep. And I think it's Sunday Night Football. Oh no.
Oh my God, what a
Yeah.
fucking game that is. Well, you know what though? Again, going into the season,
Yep.
it would have been potentially a better game.
And then Monday Night Football, give it back to him, is going to be the Seattle Seahawks traveling to the New York Giants. Oh yeah, the thing I was saying earlier is that usually the home team gets 3 points, so that's probably why that one looks less than it is.
Yep.
That's a touchdown. Fuck. And then Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks travel to the New York Giants. That's actually a good game.
But see, even that too. Like I get it. I get the 3 point at a home.
1.5.
I still don't think that they should be favored. The Giants are favored in that game.
Yep.
I'll be wrong, but I'm gonna pick Seattle.
I may have. Gosh, if I hadn't made that bet earlier on the Raiders being my money pick, I might pick the Seahawks, who I am going to pick in this one.
Now, here's the question: do the buys kick in next week, or is that too early still? Because it's now the 17th game. Do they push it out?
I think so. I think
maybe they push it out to week 5.
Yeah, the one game we didn't get. There's probably 2 games we missed here though, because the Rams are still playing in the Buccaneers.
Sorry. Well, so this one will show. This shows everything. So we did.
We're just missing whoever the Rams and Bengals play. Oh, and the Buccaneers too.
Okay, Buccaneers Saints at 1:00.
If Derek,
it looks like it's a push. There's no line there.
Wow.
Oh, because they're still playing.
Right. Yeah, I'll say Bucks.
Derek Carr's week to week, and they fell apart once he went out. I will also say, yeah, but see, then I could.
It's your Joker. Your Joker.
My Joker pick?
Well, I'm.
This week. I know. I'll say Tampa too. I don't know, but again, if Carr was playing, maybe different. The other one is the Rams at Indianapolis, again because they're playing. There's no spread yet.
That's a tough one.
Rams at Indy.
I'm gonna say Indy.
In the Dome.
Yeah, Indy at home.
Minshew is probably starting again.
Yeah, probably. I think they said the average was 9 days with the concussion protocol, so he might be back. There's a good chance Richardson's back.
Oh, man.
Decisions.
I know this they're tough because like on paper I think the Rams should win that game, but my faith in the Rams, like what was that game's just fucking 6-6 right now.
Yeah.
and Burrow's still fucking hurt and like maybe that'll be like my sleeper pick is going with the maybe not because they might be favored, but I'll go with the Colts at home. Fuck it. And I wrote down my picks. So now we know for next week. We know what we're going to actually be reporting on. We'll actually have a full record. Sorry for the phone on the table. I know that sounds like... okay, you got your money pick. I got my Joker pick.
Yep. I think we're good.
Any other big predictions? You think there's going to be an 80-point game this
No,
week?
I don't think so. I could, and it's funny. She did say that the Dolphins are pretenders, so I'll be curious to see next week. You know, Tua might explode or something might happen. We'll see, but they're definitely smelling themselves. So we'll keep an eye. Sure, I think we both picked the Bills, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll find out real quick if they're the truly pretenders. But yeah, we'll get back to that next week.
That's true. And we have to keep a record of these hot takes and see when they take fruition too, because that Russ one almost happened in the following fucking week. So
Dolphins will implode. Yep.
We'll keep a record on that just to see like how many of the hot takes actually happen.
Now I was a big fan of the Wilson one. I really like that one. The Dolphins one I enjoy, but I'm not as sure it will happen. But you know, Jess has said crazier things and they've come true. So,
and I would think that in imploding would be like finishing under 500 at least, right? Like you're starting off.
That's I'll have to gauge from her like what is it missed the playoffs? Is it under 500?
I would think that minimum it would be under 500 if you're starting out 3-0. You score 70 points. If you end up finishing like 8 and 9, that would be an implosion in my book.
Yeah. All right, I'll get some feedback on that one. We'll see.
Perfect. All right. Well, best of luck this week. I hope you guys beat Dallas.
Thanks.
We'll see how this goes.
Go when you want to. Actually, I'll be able to watch that game, which will be enjoyable. So
4:30.
Now the 1 o'clock, the Commanders. I'll
Oh,
have that on the TV.
Yeah, this is what happens when you cut the cord, and
I know.
you know. But I just can't. I know you told me. I was like, I just can't risk it because
Yeah.
I gotta watch
you
it.
go out, you gotta buy yourself lunch or something. You'll be fine.
I gotta get the boom boom wings at All Stars.
That's right.
All right. So like, comment, share, subscribe. The Mojo Show. We'll be back. This will be up Tuesday. Every Tuesday we'll put these up. I'm trying before noon, but
I'm gonna try and get you the Dropbox. We can do the audio as well. I got to work on that. So
once you upload the audio, I'll put it in the description. So if you guys want to listen to it rather than watch us and see our beautiful faces, you can do that instead.
Perfect.
Until next time.
Bye. So good.
Oh.